Well, there's nothing more than I like in a bit of turkey. And the Americans celebrate, and it's a big celebration, Thanksgiving on the 25th of November. And that's coming up. We're playing this a day ahead, but everybody will be enjoying themselves tomorrow, and it's a public holiday, and lots of feasting and drinking. And of course, it's all to do with when they actually harvested in the times of the Pilgrim Fathers who were saying thank you to God for all the bountiful things that seem to be there, including turkey. But not everybody in the United States now celebrates with turkey. In fact, our man Connor Winton, who is a correspondent in New York, or one of our correspondents, has his own idea about what makes a good Thanksgiving, and it's nothing to do with turkey. So let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Connor, and I'm coming to you from New York, USA. Here to teach you about some American Thanksgiving classics, green bean casserole and stuffing. Alright, so now we're going to be making some green bean casserole, another Thanksgiving classic. Right here, we got ourselves some nice parboiled green beans and a little bit of salted water, right? And classic with this green bean casserole is a cream of mushroom soup. We got our quarter mushrooms out here alongside some butter and some garlic. Alright, so as the mushrooms are frying up here, nice and good, we're going to add a little bit of flour to that, but while we're doing that, we're going to be frying up some onions to put on top. These are a little deep frying, a little bit of oil. Give it 5-10 minutes, and nice and golden brown, I'll put them on top. Alright, so we put some flour into the mushrooms here. See, all-purpose flour here. Combine a little bit of fond, a little bit of stuff on the bottom. And what we're doing here is we're essentially making a roux. You know what a roux is? It's a combination of fat and flour. It's going to thicken up our soup, sort of, nice and... So I'm going to glaze with a little bit of red wine vinegar, just to give it a little bit of light. Don't want it to be too flat. And of course we're going to add in our vegetable stock, because we're making this in the Victorian way. Sure the heat comes up. So add a little bit at a time here. See, it's turning nice and deliciously thick and tasty. We've got the flour in there. And now we're going to add our half and half. Alright, so we're going to add a bay leaf or a bay laurel here. And a little bit of freshly grated nutmeg. You really got to use the stuff that's fresh grated. I know it's a fad. I know people are saying whatever about it, but please, it's so much better. Our cream mushroom soup, we're going to put this right over our delicious green beans. Nice and healthy. We're just going to mix that right on up. We got all that wonderful sauce. A little noisy here. Mix that up. Just give that a thorough mixing. Give that a thorough mixing. Thorough is how Americans say thorough. Some Americans. You're like. Alright, so we got our fried onions, and we're just going to put those right on top there. Brown and golden, wonderful flavors. This is really like a key element of Thanksgiving for a lot of folks. You know, this is it sort of steals the show a lot of times. Having this as a kid, that's the best part of it. Crispy little onions on top, salted, free fish. All the onions on top. Go. Alright, so we got our lovely green bean casserole right here. We're just going to let this cool down until it's at a nice serving temperature. Well, I hope you've enjoyed these recipes. As you can see, we have a wonderful green bean casserole and delicious stuffing.
Looks great, Connor, and thanks. And I join you for Thanksgiving this year for having a bit of turkey. I'm so traditional. I'm a very accomplished flyer now, but way back in the 60s, when commercial jets still were being tested on commercial flights, then getting on board an aircraft was something of a trauma. We sat there hoping like hell that the pilot knew what he was doing and that he would get us down at the other end. And of course the pilots didn't know what they were doing, and they did get us down at the other end. But then again, air crashes became front page news, and it seemed always there was a crash just before I was supposed to fly. And so I wasn't the best flyer. Then one morning, somebody at the station, radio station I was working at, said, "Oh, someone's going to go up in a light aircraft and do traffic reports." Ha ha ha, I said, "They're not getting me into that." Guess who they came knocking on the door to? Hayes, you go out, you do the traffic reports. Well, I had no choice. I couldn't say no, I had to do it. So indeed I did. And away I went each morning, getting up at about 4:30, driving out to the airport and getting there about 5 o'clock, marching over to the far side of the airfield and getting into a Cessna 172, taking off, soaring above the city and passing on information about what was happening in the traffic. Wow. It took me 2 or 3 days to get used to the fact that this is what I was going to do twice a day. But then eventually I began to calm down and began to quite enjoy it. I enjoyed it so much, in fact, that I fell asleep one morning. I dozed. And the pilot said, "I think your station is calling you." And I heard the magic words, and now we're going up above the city, above the traffic, to see what was happening on the roads. So I opened my eyes, looked down, and immediately began to give a report. And the report was that there was a big jam of buses near the Oak Street Bridge, which went over the Fraser River. Wow! what a report. And then as we turned the aircraft and flew away, I realized that this was the bus terminal. I had just said that there were traffic jams of buses, and I'd been looking down at where the buses congregated before they set out on their morning routes. It's nothing like a great report. The pilot turned to me and he said, "You know, you've got this job licked. It's a bit boring, isn't it?" And I said, "Well, yeah, it is really. No, I mean, not much to say other than what's going on in the traffic. I try to brighten it up a little bit with a little quip here and there, but right, tomorrow morning," he said, "you get in the left-hand seat and I'll teach you to fly." And he did. And I was fortunate to have almost a year and a half of a flying experience. I logged 400 hours on the Cessna. I logged a couple of hours on a twin-engine aircraft and a couple of hours on other aircraft. I was the luckiest man in the world. And he put me into some pretty awful conditions. And we would fly up. I would give a report, and then we would do some what's known touch and goes. In other words, you land, you circle, you land, you circle, just to get some practice in. And we did. And one morning, a gust of wind took it, and I thought that the wing was going to be ripped off. Well, he grabbed the stick and managed to get us out of trouble, but it just shows the sort of thing that if you're going to be a professional pilot, that you have to put up with. So confident did we become on flying around together that he would set little tests, and he would say, there are clouds on the North Shore over the mountains. Why don't we go over and see if we can break the wings of this aircraft? Yes, let's do that. And we would deliberately fly into this mucky weather and get churned around and watch the wings, knowing full well that they wouldn't fall off. But daring. And it did turn out to be a lot of fun. I have to say, it turned out to be a lot of fun. A couple of other incidents. I used to take VIPs up in the afternoon and say, okay, here are some pollution issues and so on and so forth. And one afternoon we got my good friend, but also a colleague, Mrs. Grace McCarthy, who was the Deputy Prime Minister at the time. And we got out onto the runway and away we went. And a jet had taken off just before us, and it was a fairly still evening, so you can't see them, but the whirls of air caused by the jet's wings are still there. And sure enough, we got 3 or 4 feet from the ground, and away it went. We damn near lost the cabinet minister. The Deputy Prime Minister. Once again, he came to the rescue, flipped it over, and we managed to save the day. The other item that I think was worth reporting is that we flew backwards. Have you ever flown backwards, he said. And this young chap was about 21 or 22. He was a nice young fellow. We bought him a helmet and nicknamed him the Red Baron. And he was to die in tragic circumstances in a plane crash later on. But he was a nice young man and very helpful and lots of fun. And so we went, and he said, we need a marker. And the plane travels forward at about 100 miles or so an hour. Actually, it's a little over 72 miles for the takeoff speed. And he said that the wind this morning is particularly strong. So he put the nose of the aircraft into the strong wind, and we watched the bridge below. And although we were keeping airspeed, the plane started to travel backwards. So here we were in reverse, in a plane, in the sky, watching the bridge recede, while the plane powered forward at the correct speed, and the wind pushed us back. And that's the sort of nonsense that we would get up to. And there are lots of other stories I can tell you about my flying experience. But perhaps this last one will bring something of a smile to your lips. I was trying very hard to impress who later became my wife, my girlfriend at the time, Valerie, and I said, would you like to come flying, dear, and come out with me this afternoon, and we can go and we'll go and do some traffic reports, but we'll also take a look at the Vancouver from the air. How lovely. Yes, she said, that'd be super. Anyway, we got settled into the plane, I taxied out, checked with the tower, yes, we're all okay, we're about to take off, there's nothing in our way. Rolled it out onto the runway and roared down the runway ready to take off. And the tower came on and said, MLA, the call letters of the aircraft. You're going down the runway the wrong way. Oh my goodness me. We had to switch to a halt and take off the right way. She still married me. Well, that's my flying experience. I suppose I should fly off now. Till the next story, the next tall tale. Tiddlywip. Hello. At last I've caught you asleep.
Well, not
Yeah,
you
you're
again.
always trying to show me asleep, aren't you? Hey.
Aww, it's too early. Go away.
Oh no, we've got works to do. We're taking Break an Egg from Grange Park this week, and it's a nice place to fall asleep.
And here I was thinking I could get away from you.
Get away.
You can have this back.
Oh,
You need it more than me.
Well, I must say that I've got a haircut coming tomorrow, but for the moment I've got to cover up, I think.
Correct.
You just don't want anybody to see that I'm bald and grey, and all because of you.
I think people can see that anyway, don't you worry. They've known you long enough in this town.
You know, one of the interesting things about this park is, Annie, you've got two young children. It's a great park for coming and having picnics and things.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's quiet. It's large enough for them to run around. Very good.
And that's how you see it.
Yes.
Well, believe it or not, particularly at the time of the conquest, this was underwater.
Wow.
This was an archipelago of small islands, and the priory, which was founded in 1079 by the first lord of Lewis, William de Varenne, and his wife Gundrada, is that the deed mentions that they are granted, the priory is granted an island over there.
Are you sure it was 1079?
Well, some people debate it, but it's certainly 1079 or 1081. I remember it well.
Clearly not that well. I'm pretty sure it wasn't that year.
Just over here, there's a river called the Winterbourne.
Indeed.
Well, I mean, now you would call it a stream, right? Not much going on there
No.
until winter. Then it rages a bit.
Yes.
But that river was big enough for barges to travel up to the priory and unload various goods and so on.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and I would think the slate from this the cladding, which used to be on the priory from this mansion here, probably came up that way as well. So I think it's Welsh, or it certainly didn't come from locally, but obviously man-made developments have dried it out, and so it's now nice, flat, calm lawns, as you say, nice for children to play on, with just a little trickle of the old river running through it.
Indeed. Are there any pictures?
Not from 1079, I don't think.
No?
No.
Oh dear.
No, I can remember distinctly when the camera was first invented, and it wasn't 1079. It's a little later than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You love the camera, don't you?
No?
No? Oh, come on, you're always preening, right?
Me?
Takes you 15 minutes to get that lipstick on.
2 seconds, actually. You never pay attention.
Never pay attention. I'm supposed to pay attention. The other interesting thing is that now if you go up onto the high street in what's called the bottleneck, where the road comes together like that, is the old grammar school, which has been there since about 1520, as I recall. And it originated, a lady paid some money for the first grammar school, just over there, just over the wall there. But it consistently flooded because this was very much a water park, if you like. It wasn't a water park. It's part of the grounds of the Grange, of course. But it because it flooded, they eventually moved it up to where it is today. It's been up there for quite a long time. And so down here was a very interesting part of Lewis. And some people say the little area of Southover is over there. Now, why has it got its own church? Why has it got its own pub? Why has it got its own high street? And the reason being is getting from there to Lewis proper wasn't as easy as it is today. Just a short walk from pub to pub.
Yeah, your favourite topic.
Aha. Yeah. What do you mean?
I bet the reason why we're here today is because there's a pub just around 50 yards from here.
can smell it, can't you? I can.
Of course you do.
Yeah, well, actually, let's see how we're going. Oh, it's not right, you know. I think they're probably open. So I think it's time that we went for a pint. Huh?
Huh? What do you mean?
Sort of asking your permission.
No matter what I say, it doesn't matter. You'll be there anyway if you really want to.
Will I?
Well, I guess. I'll just have to do all the work by myself. Again.
That'd be good.
Will I get a Bloody Mary?
If you pay.
Oh, for goodness sake. Is it payday yet?
Well, I never have any money, as you know. I'm a bit like royalty.
Oh, did you say royalty?
Hey, I did indeed.
Oh, okay then. That's all right. No comment.
But you come from outside Lewes. I've been here for 30 years. But some of the things that you actually find here from a historical point of view, do you find that you enjoy them? Do your family enjoy them? Do your children enjoy them? Your mother lives with you. Does she enjoy them?
Yes, indeed. I love the history of this town. It's a lot of culture. And a lot of restaurants.
Ah! Well now, one last thing before we go, because we will be talking food and drink on this programme throughout the week. But the Priory actually owned some of the pubs and the inns in the centre of town, right where the White Hart Hotel is now. And they were known throughout England for being excellent for food and excellent for wines. And that was the monks that owned them. So there's a lot to be said for the churchy type pubs and so on.
Indeed.
Do you like churchy type pubs?
I just like pubs.
I was going to invite you to come to church with me.
Church?
Okay.
With you?
Okay, I'll invite you just to the pub.
I'm still not entirely sure how they let you in the church every Sunday. Mind you, it is not every Sunday. He's not that brave. He only goes twice a month.
Secrets. Anyway, if she'll get off my back long enough, we will go back to the studio and we will present hopefully a nice lively mix of programs throughout the day for you. And then we may come back here tomorrow morning, because it is a lovely place. We are expecting a heat wave. The sun is breaking through the clouds. It's all very pleasant, isn't it?
Indeed. At least it was until you turned up.
Go back to sleep.
Thank you. But is that you telling me you're going to leave now?
I may.
Please do. Goodbye.
Can't get anybody to work nowadays. Can't get the staff. Well, there's a couple of little snippets of a variety of things. We're expecting Eliza Page in 10 minutes' time. So I think what we'll do is we will take just a little bit of a break. Let's go down to the park before we take a break, shall we?
Right, we'll be back in about 10 minutes with Eliza Page and the alternative view. All right, for the moment, let's just say toodle, shall we? Yeah, we shall.